Mr. Bones.
What up, peeps? Mr. Bones back at you, and welcome back to Peep This Reviews. And what we're talking about is 1984's The Dungeonmaster, aka Rage War. Directed by David Allen, Charles Band, and John Carl Buechler. Written by Charles Band, Alan Actor, Rose Maria Turco, starring Jeffrey Byron as Paul Bradford, Leslie Wing as Gwen Rogers, Richard Mull as Mistima, Blackie Lawless as himself, Phil Fondacaro as Stone Canyon Person. A demonic wizard challenges a modern-day computer programmer to a battle of technology versus sorcery, with the programmer's girlfriend as the prize. 1984's The Dungeonmaster, aka Rage War, opens up and you meet Paul Bradford and his girlfriend Gwen Rogers, and his computer Excalibrate, aka Cal for short. He's a little bit obsessed with his computer. It's all he talks about. He's always on it, and it makes Gwen a little jealous. And she's sick of hearing about Cal. And she says, well, I'm going to bed where I know I'll get your full attention. So they go to bed, they have sex, and then just as they're falling asleep, something happens where his glasses glow green, and they get zapped into another world. And you meet Mistima, played by Richard Mull from the TV show Night Court. I liked Night Court back in the day, but I more so knew him from playing Big Ben in House. But he is an evil sorcerer who wants to challenge Paul in a battle of wits and skill to see who's better between the sorcerer or the programmer. Technology versus sorcery. This movie is like an anthology of sorts, sorta in the style of Trick or Treat with Sam, how all the stories intertwine and wrap around and come back together. The director seeked out many other writers and had a bunch of different writers write different segments for this movie. Gwen and Paul find themselves in many different situations. One of the first scenes is her in a waterfall, like taking a shower or bath, and he can't get to her because she's got a force field around her. Then there's this other scene where they're in this cave with a bunch of historical figures and killers and monsters, which reminded me of the movie Waxwork. You got Albert Einstein, then you got Jack the Ripper and a Wolfman. Paul falls down a hole, and she's like really cold, and she mentions she's freezing, and you hear Mistima say, oh, would you like me to turn up the heat? And it starts to thaw out the monsters. There's this other scene here I liked. I liked a lot of the scenes, but I liked this scene with this little troll monster thing that reminded me of a ghoulie. It reminded me of a mix between a ghoulie and the imp from Sorority Babes in a Slimeball Bolorama. And he summons these things that look like deadites that Paul has to fight. Then they find themselves in this other situation with this giant stone figure that comes to life and starts stomping toward him. This was said in the special features to be an homage to Ray Harryhausen films. This was a short scene. He ducks behind a rock and zaps him in the idol that's in his head with a laser on his wrist. Then we have this scene that reminds me of Mad Max type stuff. They're in this vehicle and they're running from this other vehicle. She's shooting at it with a laser gun. Then they find themselves at a Wasp concert, and she's chained to the wall like a video vixen, and he has to prevent Blackie Lawless from stabbing her, like sacrificing her or something in the video. Then there's a modern day segment where he has to save her from a serial killer. And once he's able to defeat the sorcerer, they end up back home, safe and sound. So yeah, this movie was a blast, watching the two main characters go through all these different scenarios. It was definitely a fun time, and I'd highly recommend you to check it out if you get the chance. Peace.
Playing role games with my swing, I'll be Indiana Bones in the Temple of Boom.